Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ethan Leeds. I'm a holistic health coach and I deal specifically with serious disease. I deal with a lot of cancer in particular. And I've never dealt with Lyme until I met a couple of ladies, one of whom I'm about to introduce you to, Jeanna Clifford. She came to me with Lyme and I used my cancer protocol for Lyme. And what I'd like to do in just a moment is introduce you to her and get her to tell you her story and what happened with her, because Lyme has become a major epidemic with lots and lots of people, unfortunately, now suffering with it. So, hi Jeanna, I'd love you to share with us your story and what's happened with you and in your Lyme journey.
Hi Ethan, hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm super happy to talk with you today because I really appreciate kind of meeting you over, it was actually about a year ago, I think is when we first met. And I had just found out that I had Lyme and some co-infections, Babesia and Mycoplasma. And it had taken me really 3 or 4 years to figure out what was wrong with me. I had a lot of issues happening as far as feeling like I had arthritis. My joints were super painful. My neck, my upper back was super painful. I used to go to a chiropractor all the time just to try and seek relief for my neck pain. My joints, my knees were sore. I could only walk, maybe less than a quarter of a mile before my knees would feel super sore. So hiking, traveling, doing all these things that I used to love to do just became impossible. Neurological things started to happen. I had no ability to focus. I would jumble up my words. Things would get mixed up in my head. I would forget things. I would forget appointments. My attention span was just out the window. It was very difficult for me to continue doing my graphic design job, which is, what I love to do. And I worked from home and really enjoyed that lifestyle, but I was finding it incredibly difficult to just get simple tasks done on a daily basis. And then I took a trip and I met this incredible woman who was a doctor, an internal medicine doctor who had Lyme herself. And I've been speaking with her, met her on Facebook. And
is a medical doctor or not? Well, I know the answer, but
yes, she was trained in internal medicine. She went to Vanderbilt and she had her undergraduate degree from Princeton. So she was Stanford. She's a smart cookie, and she'd been doing a ton of research on Lyme disease and the co-infections. And through working with her, we determined what was going on with me. And she had some things that she had been doing and that she had researched. I'd also been to see a naturopath, and she had me on a host of an herbal, tinctures. So between all of that, I was taking probably 30 to 35 different supplements every day. And it was really difficult to keep up with all of that. And I really wasn't seeing a major difference. I could tell that something was helping, but a lot of times I felt like I was going backwards, or if I missed something one day or that kind of thing, it was really incredibly difficult to keep up with. So it wasn't working for me. And so when I met you, I was interested in the protocol that you had going on and some of the things that you had mentioned. And so I started incorporating them. So about a year ago is when I really started incorporating those. And I found that I wasn't having to take as many of those other supplements because the ones that you sort of introduced me to were doing more for me overall. And so I was able to take much less, and it just simplified everything.
Number less, so 35 down to what kind of number?
Down to about 15 like major ones. 10 major core ones. And then I've added the different tinctures for the certain sort of co-infections that I have that really target those specifically, but 10 really major ones. So from going 35 down to 10 or, 10 to 15 even, it's cut it in half.
Yeah.
So it was huge.
Very big. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you've cut down from 35 to 10 to 15. Okay. You're getting more results. What's your pain levels like now? At this point, when you first started, where were you on a pain threshold?
So on a pain threshold, when I first started, I was probably at a 5 or 6 every day. I just, didn't really know what normal was because I'd been, living that way for 3 or 4 years. I didn't really know what pain-free was because I just felt kind of crummy all the time. I didn't have energy to get out of bed some days. And just doing simple tasks like cleaning the house and doing laundry and things like that, I didn't have the energy to even do. So, it's not like my pain was super, super intense or something, but I just felt just the lack of energy, and then the pain, the arthritic pain that I had in my body, that was fairly constant. It would kind of come and go, depending on the day or maybe how I had been eating and that kind of thing. But so I went from feeling, pretty crummy pretty much every day to certain days I would wake up and I actually felt energy for the first time. I was able to get up and clean the house. I was able to do chores that I really had been just putting off forever. And I was getting more work done. I was more productive. My husband was like, what happened to you? He was super excited because he kind of had his wife back again a little bit. And it was really encouraging after the first even month of, some of the things that I started with. I really noticed a big difference. And then
within a month, and you'd had this for years, and you'd gone to naturopaths, you'd tried all sorts of things, and within a month you were seeing quite significant improvements.
I was seeing quite significant improvements. So once, one thing seemed to be working, and then I would add another layer, and I would add another layer, a week or two later, and it just kept getting better and better and better. And then after 4 months, I felt like a different person. And I have a picture that I took kind of when I was feeling kind of, one of my worst times. I took a picture. It was December of 2016. It was, I think, the week of that I started on your protocol. So it was right before I really got started with yours. And I don't know, maybe I can share my screen.
Yeah, I'd love to see that picture. I think I have seen it once before, I've got a feeling. Sure, I've seen it.
It's possible. So on the left is me in December. And of course, I'm not wearing any makeup. And so this was very vulnerable for me to do. And then on the right was just 4 months later. So that was in April. And you can see a difference. And I don't know, a picture's worth 1,000 words sometimes. But I feel like I felt like a different person, put it that way. I definitely felt like a different person.
Right. So a month and you'd got significant progress. 4 months and you were kind of almost back to where to normal, to near normal.
To near normal, probably about 90% better, 90 to 95% better. And then I added a couple more things on my protocol that more focused on the Lyme aspect of it, not necessarily the overall health aspect, but just the Lyme aspect of it. And then that just kind of pushed it over the edge. And now most days I feel totally normal. I'm without pain. I have the energy to do the things that I used to do. I can take on my workload. I just took a 10-day trip to Texas and worked in a very stressful, production environment for, putting on an expo or helping to produce an expo. So very little sleep, maybe 5 hours of sleep, lots of stress. Not eating well, and then traveling on top of that, and airplane rides and everything else. And I haven't been sick since I've been on this protocol. So, even though people around me have had the flu, I haven't come down with anything. And I feel a lot more energy, and I feel like I can function again and be like normal again. So anyway.
It would knock out a lot of healthy people, like that kind of environment. That's really cool. And just before we close this section, because what I'd like to do is then do a separate video where we examine a specific, one of the key things that you've used. But just before we do that, you mentioned this other lady that was a doctor that we both know. So do you just want to share briefly in 1 or 2 sentences, like what happened with her? Because she did the same thing that you did. She did the same protocol, my cancer protocol. And she is basically in the same position as you with her Lyme, right? She'd gone through conventional because she's a doctor. She'd done all of that. It hadn't worked. She'd then used some natural stuff the same as you. And then she used this protocol and she's a good friend of yours, right? So just in a couple of sentences, what was her experience?
Yeah, she was, she's someone that was a friend of mine, and we'd been talking because she helped me figure out what was wrong with me to begin with. And so she had been going through traditional antibiotics, and her story, and just seeing the stories of many other people, I just knew that taking lots of antibiotics over a long period of time was not something that I wanted to pursue for myself. I just didn't see the benefit of it long term. Some people were helped by it, but there were a lot of people, including my doctor friend, who they were getting better symptom wise, but it was ruining their digestive system. It was harming their overall sort of immune system. And so she was very aware of that. Even though she was feeling much better, she wasn't completely in remission until she actually started this protocol. So once I started the protocol, I kind of filled her in on what I was doing. And then she was like, oh, I want to try that. So then she systematically started trying these things too. And within a very short amount of time, I think maybe a month or two, she went back to her Lyme literate doctor, and he pronounced her, basically symptom free and in remission. And she's been doing and going gangbusters ever since. She's completely gotten her life back. So, and I'm hoping you can do an interview with her too, because
I really must do that. I must do that. But yeah, she's I think it was 3 weeks actually, from my memory, but I might be wrong. But I think
that could be. Yeah, it was a really short amount of time.
Really, really fast. She's the fastest ever,
Yeah.
I think. But awesome. So that's great. I mean, I really appreciate. We've known one another for over a year now, I think, and I'm obviously intimately aware of your story and everything that's gone on because I've been part of the story. But it's the first time we've ever actually done a video explaining this, isn't it? And I've done lots of videos with lots of people, and yet we've never done it. So
Right.
what I want to do, we haven't gone into the protocol because it would make it a great long video. It would be too much. And I just wanted to just do this just to get the message out, and then we can do some other videos, or at least one other video, and look a little bit more closely at some key things that you did. So I really appreciate you doing this, Jeanna. I know that you're not always comfortable on video and what have you, so I appreciate that greatly. And I hope that this video can be an inspiration for other people that are going through the same kind of challenges that you've gone through, and other people that we know have gone through, because there is hope. There are things that can be done. Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my hope as well. So
awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much. I think you're going to have to stop it, Jeanna, because I think you